Right then guys, welcome back to issue number 3 of Games X magazine from the 17th of May 1991. A weekly games magazine for only 60p. Impossible. Well, clearly not. This was 60p. And a bargain at that as well. So as you can see, Bitmap Brothers on the front there with Magic Pockets, which is a great game. Well, I say a great game. I mean, nostalgically a great game for me, but yeah, I don't know. For me anyway, I like it. So straight away we get to the double news page spread, and we have news of, at the time, an upgraded Mega Drive and PC Engine. Apparently rumours of both machines being upgraded to a full 2 megabit of RAM. Unbelievable. And I thought that article there was quite interesting, because it's talking about the, well, it says the Panther, the 32-bit Atari Panther, which I guess ultimately is what went on to become the Jaguar. But this is, you know, you've got to remember, 1991. Now, when did the Jaguar come out? Was it 94? Late 93, 94 time? So it's funny just to see that, you know, it was in development. I guess, you know, obviously in development, but rumours of it, you know, as far back as 1991. And like I say, 32-bit, and, well, I mean, it was billed as 64, but it technically was kind of 32. But the Panther, I didn't even know it was called the Panther. Learn a new thing every day. There's more rumours again of the Family CD, which obviously, as I keep saying in previous issues, ended up being the Sony PlayStation, but talk then of it being an add-on for the Super Famicom. $750 they were talking, that's pretty pricey. So a few other bits and pieces there. The impending, then imminent release of the Sega Game Gear. That's kind of interesting. June of 1991. Now I don't know whether that date changed, but that's when they've got it coming out there. When this was May, so just the following month. Some new Lynx games there. That took me by surprise when I read that little article there. 36 new releases in 1991. I didn't think there was that many for the Lynx in general. No, and obviously I know there's more than 36, but 36 in a year for a handheld, that's pretty good going back then. Paperboy, R-Type at the bottom there. Looking typically R-Type-ish. Oh, bloody hell, look at this. Another double page of news. Various games. I mean, Robocop 3, look how good that looks. I mean, is that just me? Bearing in mind this is 1991, it would have been in development for a good couple of years. I mean, look at the graphics, aren't it? The 3Dness, the lighting. Absolutely lovely. And I mean, I was stunned at the time by how good it looked. It played alright, but, you know, in terms of its, you know, aesthetics, and looks absolutely fantastic. Cadaver there, another decent game. RBI Baseball. I was a big fan of that. Know next to nothing about baseball, but I did see the World Champions of like 3 years ago live in action. It's when the Yankees played the A's. I didn't have a clue what was going on, but I was there. Seen the likes of Derek Jeter and who's the other one? What's the one who usually closes out the pitching for the Yankees? There's about 3 people, if that, who know what I'm talking about watching this. But is it Mariano or something? Oh, I can't remember. Maybe I'm just thinking of marijuana. I don't know what I'm thinking of. There's Mariano someone. Maybe not. Anyway, whatever. That looks really good down there. King's Bounty. Like the look of that one. Little Bew. Zom Warriors. I mean, nothing really sticking out there. And then we get the releases, what's coming out this month, or from May of 1991. Lemmings, I guess for me, is the one which immediately stands out. Monopoly. Get in on the game. Got Danielle Woodyat there. Looks remarkably like a lion. Of US Gold, and Ian Richardson of Gremlin Graphics. And they're basically, the premise of this little article is just talking about getting into the industry. Which back then would have been, you know, of interest to me. But now isn't really, obviously, very important. Hero Quest, we've seen this advert before. Gallup charts, or as I've said before, as I like to call it in the first few issues, Gallup up charts. Gods at number 1. Lemons there. Advertisement for Kit Kat. Giveaway. Now, this number could well be in here. I've never looked. I might have won a Sega Game Gear. Jet Fighter, the first review. And this one is for the PC. Getting 5 out of 5. So they obviously like this one. It looks really good, but even back then, you know, this is one of these games then and now, which I always like the idea, you know, in theory of getting involved in, but it's just a little bit too complicated, and I think I just prefer that kind of, you know, that kind of game you can just pick up and play straight away. Hydra, which was advertised, I think, on the back of last month's issue. Last month. I mean, I'm talking as if I'm in 1991. The issue from 1991, the previous one to this, issue number 2. 3 out of 5, so they didn't particularly like that one. It doesn't look too bad, as I focus in on what looks like a mermaid. How bizarre. Next up is Afrika Korps, so a strategy game there, I guess, concerning World War II, for the Amiga, 3 out of 5. It doesn't look very spectacular. Barodius on the Gameboy, 4 out of 5. So they were liking this one. Again, curiously priced at $25.53. Oh, what all that's about. I mean, it looks really good. I mean, to be fair, a lot of Game Boy games do look good. You know, but it's just obviously the yellow and the yellow and black graphics. But yeah, the sprites look very good and detailed. I don't mind the Game Boy. 4D Tennis, which is for the PC. Price to be announced. Yeah, I can't remember what the game was. There was a tennis game. Was it maybe not Advantage Tennis? Could well have been that, or maybe I'm thinking of something else. But it was slightly like this in the sense that you could, you know, upgrade and you could hire a tennis coach and buy various rackets and other stuff. And I really liked it. It was almost like a management game for tennis. 3D construction kit, so we've gone from 4D to 3D. This one's for the Atari ST and gets a mammoth 5 out of 5. Yeah, I used to have this, and it was fun. And it looks pretty detailed, really. Lords of Chaos, which I've also touched upon in a previous issue. This was the last game from memory that I bought for the Amstrad. And this one's reviewed for the Atari ST, getting 4 out of 5. And as you can see there, Amstrad disc $12.99, cassette $9.99. So yeah, May of 1991, I was still buying Amstrad games. I thought I'd stop buying well before then, but obviously not. Swords and Galleons for the Amiga, 4 out of 5. This looks really good. I haven't read the review, but just looking at the screenshots there, very kind of Pirates of the Caribbean-esque. Yeah, I can imagine getting into this one. I think it looks pretty decent. Swords and Galleons. I might have to Google that one, or YouTube it, or eBay it. ST Action. I remember this copy, so I obviously would have had it back then when it came out. Cheats page, Tipex. Gates of Zendikon. Good memories of that on the links when a friend brought it into school. We used to play it all the time. Z-Out, or Z-Out, if you're in America. Kickoff 2, absolute classic game. Obviously, a lot of people prefer Sensible Soccer because, you know, it was much more instantly playable. Kickoff 2, there's a steep learning curve, but once you mastered it, very rewarding. God's Player Guide. God's is a great game. Brat Player's Guide. I think Brat isn't it the front cover with like a little kid with a baseball cap on. I don't think I've played it, but, you know, obviously I remember it. Prince of Persia Player's Guide. Yeah, you'd probably need a Player's Guide for that because it's so easy to get lost. But a great game, really good. And the animation on it, even looking at it now, absolutely fantastic. Gallup charts again for the Amiga. God's number 1. You can work out the rest yourself. Atari ST, Lemmings number 1. Dizzy Collection, of course, for the Amstrad. The Sega, was that the Master System? Mega Drive, the Mega Drive chart, we've got Mickey Mouse at number 1 there. Dizzy Collection at number 1 for the Spectrum. And for the Commodore 64 SCI, which I'm going to guess, given the fact that it's Ocean, is Chase HQ2, which was Special Criminal Investigation. And then on the budget chart, of course, we have a Dizzy game. Codemasters. Let's count the Codemasters games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Unbelievable. And then some screenshots on top there of Speedball 2, Paperboy. I was playing Paperboy yesterday, actually. It's really addictive, but bloody hard. Really annoying me. Got little question answers session thing there. Dr. X and his sarcasm. There's Gods. A really good game with a thumping soundtrack. Mario game. A cutscene there from Powermonger. Another really good game. Sneak preview of Magic Pockets. Nice double page spread here. Betty Boo doing the music. Betty Boo, oh. I think I talked enough about her. Or talked enough about her, I should say, from in a previous issue. I'm sure everyone knows where I'm coming from. So yeah, just a software house, I guess. Just wondering where they are. Maybe they'd been off the radar for a while and are coming back with new games. New Moon, Rugby, American football game there. And Wreckers, I think that was in the last issue, which looks rubbish there, but in the previous 2 screenshots from, like I said, the last issue, it looked pretty decent. Win one of them bikes? Worth £1,000. 0898. Anyone remember them numbers? You know, it cost you like 20 quid to make a bloody phone call. You'd never win. Street Talk. The greatest feature of all time. in good old Manchester, in game actually, as you can see, which is quite topical at the moment. Now, it makes me laugh because, I mean, I'll just skirt over like Arcade Extravaganza actually, as I talk about this, just for a few seconds, but it makes me laugh how a lot of people are basically, you know, getting on the... Oh Christ, look at that in the corner there, Diane. It makes me laugh how a lot of people are siding with siding with EA. I don't know why people are siding with EA, because they're an absolute disgrace. You know, I think it's terrible that potentially Game are going out of business. Think of all the jobs that are going to be lost up and down the country. Thousands and thousands of jobs, and all for the sake of people siding with EA. Why? I mean, EA are the people who are, you know, desperate to get rid of the second-hand gaming used market. You know, they're desperate to get more money out of people and fleece them for more money via DLC, via online passes. I mean, they do make some great games, and I do buy them, you know, and I do enjoy them. But why you'd support EA over Game, I think a lot of people, you know, are not thinking about this. I think it'd be terrible if Game went under. I think it'd be a really bad thing, just for the biggest reason, like I say, jobs. In this climate especially, and I mean EA, everyone hates EA, but all of a sudden everyone's siding with them because Game wouldn't stock Mass Effect. Get it somewhere else then. I don't know what the problem is, but yeah, I definitely, absolutely, under no circumstances do I come down on the side of EA. Now, I'm sure the service, you know, in Game isn't great, a lot of people have talked about it, but who cares? You don't have to, you know, talk to them, just go in there, buy your game and bugger off again. Honestly, shouldn't be sticking up for EA, it's a scandal, I think. But anyway, that's my 2 pence worth. Let's check out these people. There's Michel there, and Martin. Michel and Martin, lovely couple. Martin looks suspiciously like a kid I used to go to school with called Paul, which obviously therefore clearly isn't the one I used to go to school with. Looks a little bit like Andy Bell from Erasure there as well, slightly. I guess pre-Botox or whatever else he's done to his face. There's Julian, 28. I mean, he looks like a PC gamer, doesn't he? He says it at the top there. You can just tell. There we are. There's Diane. I own a Sega Master System, and no game can beat Outrun for sheer playability. Yeah, well, I reckon games could beat Outrun for sheer playability, but it was a good game. There's Nicholas there. I don't know what's going on with his hair, but he's loving it. B. Simpson. Now, is his name B, or didn't he just want to say his first name? And if he didn't want to say his first name, why has he said his last name? It makes himself look stupid there. I think that's an England shirt he's got on as well from 1990, which is pretty topical because my last video had the Italy 90 football game that I picked up. There's William and John. Lovely little couple, or maybe they're just friends. They probably are just friends, to be fair, but you never know, do you? Never know how they ended up. Loving it. And look at Paul, the regional manager. Look at them glasses. That is unbelievable. Top 10 selling games at the time. God, Super Mario Bros. 2, Mickey Mouse. Well, you can read the rest. Western Europe, never even heard of that one. But Gods, yeah, brilliant. Arcade Extravaganza, well, I focused on this a few seconds ago. There's Batman. There's Cisco Heat, which I used to really like. Go Global, greatest feature ever. Chesney Hawks, I Am the One and Only. Mark Almond there, talking about the song he did with Gene Pitney. Something's Gotten a Hold of My Heart. Good song, if you like that kind of thing. Yeah, I remember these things. What the hell are they called? Whooshers. Well, that name doesn't ring a bell, but they definitely do ring a bell looking at them. Little crab there. Some Ribena drinks. And then that thing, or is it like some kind of karaoke machine? By Sanyo. Yeah, not really my sort of thing. Now, she doesn't look too hot, I've got to be honest. She doesn't look too bad. That face looks a little bit mangled. But I used to, still do like that kind of pixie haircut on girls, if they've got the right face for it. I'm presuming that's a girl, by the way. There's them things which look suspiciously like Sylvanian families, but no, Bullrush family. That name, again, doesn't ring a bell, but these things do. And there's a pocket Casio TV. I remember when these were all the rage for kids at my age at school. It must have been the Christmas, obviously, like 1990, 91, 92, and we all wanted to get one. Although why, in hindsight, is beyond me, because it's just ultimately a television that you could watch in your room or somewhere, but what's the point of that? And not just that, but I did know someone who had one, and they could never get a reception. So it's a waste of time having them. There's a letters page, and some budget range cartoon stuff there. Quick Draw McDraw, Top Cat, Jetsons, Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo, and Toki. Platform game on the back. Available for 8 and 16-bit systems. So there we are, guys. Issue number 3. 17th of May, 1991. Where does the time go? Unbelievable. Games X. See you next time.